Tonight, somewhere around 2 a.m., you might wake up. Your eyes open in the dark, your mind starts turning, and the first thing you feel is a quiet panic. Something is wrong with you. Real sleepers stay asleep. But the truth is far stranger than that. For most of human history, waking up in the middle of the night wasn't a disorder. It was Tuesday. You have been taught that sleep is one long, unbroken block. Lights off, eyes closed, 8 hours later, you open them again. That's the goal you chase every night. That's the failure you feel when you can't hit it. But your ancestors did not sleep that way, and for almost all of human history, nobody expected them to. Historian Roger Ekirch spent over a decade digging through old court records, diaries, and medical texts before he stumbled onto something odd. Again and again, ordinary people from centuries ago casually mentioned 2 sleeps in a single night. Not insomnia, not sickness, just normal life. They called it first sleep and second sleep. You would go to bed a few hours after sunset. You would sleep for 3 or 4 hours. Then, deep in the night, you would simply wake up. Not from a nightmare, not from noise. Your body would just decide it was done, for now. And what did people do in that waking window? They did not panic. They did not reach for anything to knock themselves back out. They got up. They talked. They prayed. They tended the fire. Some visited neighbors who were also awake in their own version of the same quiet hour. Then, after an hour or two, they climbed back into bed for second sleep and drifted off again until morning. Doesn't that sound almost peaceful? A whole society quietly awake together in the dark, and nobody thinking it was strange at all. So what changed? Light changed, specifically artificial light. Before gas lamps and electric bulbs, night was night. Total, heavy, immersive darkness for 8, 9, sometimes 10 hours depending on the season. Your ancestors weren't lying in bed the entire time. Their sleep simply spread itself out to match the length of the dark. Then came the industrial world. Streetlights, factories running around the clock, clocks themselves dictating exactly when the workday started. Suddenly, night stopped being an open block of darkness to fill however your body wanted. It became a narrow window you had to fit sleep into, because morning had a schedule now, and the schedule did not care about your body's rhythm. Sleep got compressed. First sleep and second sleep got squeezed together into one dense, uninterrupted block, because that's what the new world demanded. And the version we call normal today, one long, unbroken stretch of unconsciousness, is barely 2 centuries old. Here's where it gets even more interesting. In the 1990s, psychiatrist Thomas Ware ran an experiment that seemed almost cruel in its simplicity. He took a group of people and put them in near total darkness for 14 hours a night for over a month. No clocks, no sunlight leaking in, just darkness, matching the length of night in a pre-industrial winter. At first, they slept for hours and hours, catching up on what a lifetime of electric light had stolen from them. But then, something shifted. Their sleep began splitting apart on its own. They started falling into 2 distinct chunks, separated by 1 to 3 hours of quiet, restful wakefulness in the middle of the night, exactly the pattern Ekirch had found buried in centuries-old diaries. Their bodies, left alone in true darkness, remembered something their conscious minds never knew. Does that unsettle you a little? It should, in the best way. It means the 2-sleep pattern isn't some quirky historical fashion, like powdered wigs or corsets. It's a setting your biology can still drop into, given the right conditions. You didn't lose an old habit. You lost the darkness that used to trigger it. Now, before you assume every human on Earth for all of history slept this exact way, there's a twist worth sitting with. Neuroscientist Jerome Siegel led a study looking at modern hunter-gatherer and forager societies, groups in Tanzania, Namibia, and Bolivia who still live largely without electricity. If segmented sleep were some deep, universal human instinct, you'd expect to see it there, untouched by industrial light. But that's not quite what Siegel found. These groups mostly slept in one consolidated block each night, not neatly split into 2 halves. Their sleep still bent to the rhythm of darkness, cooling temperatures, and the fading of the fire. But it didn't fracture the way Kirch's European diaries described, and it didn't split the way Ware's lab subjects split either. So which one is the true ancestral pattern? Maybe that's the wrong question. Maybe your body was never built to follow one rigid script at all. Maybe it was built to be flexible, to bend around whatever darkness, temperature, and safety were available on a given night, in a given place, in a given century. So tonight, if it happens again, if your eyes open somewhere around 2 a.m. and the house is quiet and dark, try noticing what your body actually wants instead of immediately reaching for your phone to check how much time you've lost. Maybe it wants to lie there in the stillness. Maybe it wants water, or a few slow breaths, or just 5 minutes of doing absolutely nothing.